Memphis rapper iHeartMemphis arrested after a standoff with a SWAT team in the Miami area. We just obtained his mugshot. This is from the Broward County Sheriff's Department. Police in Plantation, Florida, which is right outside Miami, say he's been charged with written or electronic threats and resisting arrest without violence.
I don't have nothing. I don't have nothing, man.
Where's the gun?
Huh? I don't have a gun in there. Well, it's a small.
iHeartMemphis, the rapper behind Hit the Quan, got arrested in Florida on February 10th after a standoff with police that lasted hours. This wasn't a simple arrest. It started with a car crash, turned into a barricade situation, and ended with SWAT teams outside a plantation home. While the whole thing played out in real time, the man who had millions of people doing his dance back in 2015 was now locked in a house, refusing to come out while police surrounded the property. And it all started that Monday morning in South Florida.
Bro, she come to bother me. Please, please leave me alone, bro. Please leave me alone, bro. Please, I'm begging you, Coco. Please, bro. Bro, please leave me alone, bro. Please, just leave me alone, bro. Please, I'm begging you, bro. Bro, please. Bro, leave me, bro. Please leave me alone. I'm begging you. Please. Please, I'm scared. Leave me alone, bro. Why your black bitch at my house? Uncle Tom, Mason, man, what the you freaking get off my grass! Get off my grass! Get off my grass! Get off my grass! You are set up, man. Hey, get off my grass! Get off my grass! Get off my grass!
Here's how it went down. Around 8 a.m. on Monday, iHeartMemphis crashed his Tesla in Plantation, Florida. The crash itself brought police to the scene. But what happened next turned a traffic incident into something much bigger. Instead of staying at the crash site, he left and went to a nearby home. That's when things shifted. Police followed him to the residence, but he didn't open the door. He went inside and refused to come out. Officers tried to make contact, tried to get him to leave peacefully, but he stayed put. The situation escalated quickly from there. Law enforcement wasn't taking chances. They called in the SWAT team. The Plantation Police Department, along with the Broward Sheriff's Office SWAT unit, set up a perimeter around the house. This was now a full barricade situation. Neighbors were told to stay inside. The street was blocked off, all because iHeartMemphis was inside that house and wouldn't surrender.
They mad now. Ooh, we me like ski, and I'm sexy and I hit you with the red beam. How about that? Got up in a dolphin, I slide to the beat. Richard Culver, you see how these crackers try to change me?
The standoff lasted for hours. Police negotiators were brought in to try and talk him out. They attempted to communicate with him, but nothing was working. He stayed inside while officers waited outside with tactical units ready. This wasn't a quick situation that resolved in 30 minutes. This dragged on throughout the morning and into the afternoon. Picture the scene. Multiple police vehicles, SWAT team members positioned around the property, negotiators trying different approaches to get him to come out peacefully. And inside that house, iHeartMemphis refusing to leave, refusing to cooperate, while the clock kept ticking. The neighborhood was completely disrupted. People couldn't leave their homes. Some couldn't get back to their houses if they'd left earlier. Parents were calling schools worried about their kids. The entire area was on lockdown because of what was happening at that one residence. Nobody expected what happened next.
That man is a rapper with hundreds of thousands of followers. And get this, he live streamed the standoff.
Yes, as a matter of fact, before the barricaded standoff that he live streamed, he posted on social media leading up to that, talking and showing the moment that welfare officers came here to check on him. He told those welfare officers that he was God. There's another video where he's filming the clouds over his house and he believes the clouds were spying on him. So this was clearly, the family says, a case of someone who desperately needed help.
While police were outside trying to end this peacefully, iHeartMemphis was reportedly live streaming from inside the house. Some reports said he was on social media during the standoff, broadcasting while law enforcement surrounded the property. The situation was playing out in real time, both on the street and online. Think about that for a second. SWAT teams are outside. Negotiators are trying to establish contact. The entire neighborhood is on lockdown, and he's live streaming. Whether that was an attempt to document what was happening, to communicate with someone, to tell his side of the story, or just a reaction to the stress of the situation, we don't know. But it adds another layer to an already complicated incident. This went on for hours. Morning turned into afternoon. SWAT teams stayed positioned. Negotiators kept trying, and iHeartMemphis remained barricaded inside. apparently broadcasting parts of it to the internet. The contrast between what was happening outside and what he was doing inside shows just how surreal the situation had become.
The most challenging obstacle is, I guess, dealing with like the critics. It's challenging because they know how to get under your skin and they know how to North Memphis. I will say I put the city on the map if you want to get technical now. I say that because before I came out, we hit the corner in 2015. Wasn't nobody popping but your guy dog. After I shined that light and I took over the USA, and you know, I had everybody hit the corner. You know, once I did that, I shined that light on my city. And then everybody started getting attention from my city.
The rapper in that house used to be known for something completely different. Back in 2015, Hit the Quan exploded. The song became a viral sensation, spawning a dance that spread across the internet before TikTok even existed. People were posting videos of themselves hitting the Quan. Athletes were doing it. Celebrities were doing it. The song climbed to number 58 on the Billboard Hot 100. For a moment, iHeartMemphis was everywhere. He went from being a Memphis rapper to having a nationwide hit. He was performing at shows, doing interviews, riding the wave of that viral success. The dance itself became bigger than the song in some ways. People who never heard the full track still knew the dance moves, but viral moments don't last forever, and the music industry moves fast. By 2016, the conversation had shifted to other songs, other dances, other artists. iHeartMemphis was still making music, still performing, but the spotlight had moved on.
I see y'all. I don't have nothing. Look, my hands up. They is up. My hands up. Don't kill me. My hands up. My hand up. Look. My hand up.
Eventually, the standoff ended. After hours of negotiations and tactical positioning, iHeartMemphis was taken into custody. Police arrested him without further incident once he finally came out. The barricade situation was over, but the legal trouble was just beginning. The charges he's facing are serious. According to reports from TMZ and multiple local news outlets, he was arrested on threats to kill. That's the charge that came out of this situation. Not just the car crash, not just refusing to leave the house. Threats to kill. That's a significant charge. It means at some point during this incident, whether before the crash, during the standoff, or in the events leading up to it, there were threats made that law enforcement deemed serious enough to arrest him on that specific charge. This is where everything changed.
Get away from my house. I don't need help. I need water. Not Coca-Cola, not AIDS and red meat. I'm God. Look at me walk across this fucking grass. No. I'm fast like lightning. I will speed off on your... Get in the sun! Get in the sun! I will blast. I'm him in the flesh. You ain't never seen no I am my size. Man, y'all can't see. It's me, the Messiah.
The details of what led to those specific charges haven't been fully disclosed. What's known is that the incident started with a Tesla crash Monday morning, escalated into a barricade situation, involved multiple law enforcement agencies, including SWAT, lasted several hours, and ended with an arrest on serious charges. But here's what we don't know yet. Who were the threats directed toward? What exactly was said? Did this happen before the crash or during the standoff? Were the threats made in person, over the phone, or online? Was this an ongoing situation that had been building, or did it all happen that morning? All of that information hasn't been released publicly yet. The lack of details creates a gap in the story. We know the timeline of events on Monday. We know the crash happened. We know he barricaded himself. We know SWAT was called. We know he was arrested on threats charges. But the why behind it all remains unclear. Local 10 News in Miami reported on the incident as it happened. Action News 5 in Memphis covered it because of his connection to that city. CBS Miami had crews on scene during the standoff. This wasn't just hip-hop blogs picking up the story afterward. Local news stations were broadcasting the standoff live because of the police presence and the nature of the situation.
Barricaded himself inside of the home for hours as thousands of people tuned in, including his own neighbors.
But other neighbors found the Instagram Live and were showing it to me. And then I just heard the cops literally all night, come outside, put your hands up, drop the gun, we're here to help you, we're not going to harm you.
People were saying, just turn yourself in, man. You know, I pray for you.
The response from law enforcement tells you how seriously they took this. SWAT teams don't get called for minor situations. Neighborhoods don't get locked down for hours over nothing. The level of response indicates they believed there was a credible threat, whether based on statements made, behavior observed, or information they had about the situation. When SWAT gets involved, it means there's a perceived risk of violence. It means standard officers can't handle it alone. It means the situation has escalated to a point where tactical units and specialized training are necessary. That's not a decision made lightly. Plantation is a city in Broward County, Florida, just west of Fort Lauderdale. It's not a place that sees SWAT standoffs every day. So when something like this happens, it gets attention. Residents saw the police presence. They saw the tactical units. They saw the armored vehicles. They knew something serious was going down. For those who remember Hit the Quan, this is a jarring update. That song represented a moment of pure fun in hip-hop. It wasn't about violence or street life. It was about a dance. It was about having a good time. The whole vibe was celebratory. Kids were doing it. Families were doing it together. It was one of those rare hip-hop moments that crossed all demographics. But the story didn't end there.
Richard Maurice Colbert, or as fans know him, iHeartMemphis, had a hit song, Hit the Quan.
Hit the quad, hit the quad.
It made it to Billboard's top 15 songs in 2015. It had a viral dance that teens across the country posted.
I said get down low and hit the quad.
But videos the rapper started posting in the last 72 hours were disturbing. Family told me he's been acting erratically for several days now.
The success of that song came with its own challenges. One-hit wonders in the music industry face a specific kind of pressure. You have this massive moment, and then you're trying to recapture it, trying to prove you're more than just that one song. Every release after gets compared to that hit. Every performance gets judged against that peak. iHeartMemphis released other music after Hit the Quan, but nothing connected the same way. He put out singles, he dropped projects, he collaborated with other artists, but none of it generated the same buzz, the same excitement, the same cultural moment that Hit the Quan created. That doesn't mean he disappeared. He stayed active in Memphis. He performed at local shows and clubs. He worked on music consistently. He maintained a presence in the community, but he wasn't getting the national attention he had during the height of the Hit the Quan phenomenon. He became a regional artist again, known in Memphis, but not necessarily on everyone's radar nationally.
Eventually arrested early Tuesday morning on written or electronic threats to kill or injure and resisting without violence. After he was detained, Colbert was taken to the hospital to get checked out. He currently remains at the Broward County main jail. He is expected to make a bond court appearance tomorrow.
After the arrest, iHeartMemphis was taken into custody by the Broward Sheriff's Office. He's being held on the threats charge. The legal process is moving forward. Court dates will be set. Bail will be determined if he's eligible. The question now is, what happens next in the case and how aggressively prosecutors decide to pursue it? The standoff itself raises questions about what exactly happened before the crash, during the barricade, and what led to the specific charge. Police haven't released full details about the nature of the threats or who they were directed toward. That information will likely come out as the case develops, either through court filings, official statements, or discovery in the legal process. Then the situation got complicated.
Before I hopped in music, I kind of studied, you know what I'm saying? I kind of watched other artists and how long it took them to get this many views so I can know where I need to be to know, so I can see if I'm booming enough, you know? I'm from Memphis. So shout out Gotti, Dolph, 3-6 Mafia, all them guys, Dun, Trip, and all them guys, man. So I come from gangster music, like hip hop, street, real, you know what I'm saying? Random, dope, woo. So, man, Hit the Quan is totally different from what Memphis used to, you know what I'm saying, doing.
Memphis has a distinct place in hip-hop. It's given us 3-6 Mafia, Yo Gotti, Moneybagg Yo, and a whole lineage of artists with a specific sound and approach. The Memphis sound is raw, gritty, bass-heavy. It has its own identity separate from other regional scenes. iHeartMemphis came from that city, but his biggest hit didn't sound like traditional Memphis rap. It was more commercial, more accessible, designed for mass appeal. The production was cleaner, the content was lighter, it was made to cross over. That can be a double-edged sword. You get the mainstream success, but you might not get the same respect from the underground or the streets. You're seen as the dance guy, not the street rapper. You're the artist who made something for radio and parties, not something that represents the reality of where you came from. Whether that bothered him or affected his trajectory, we don't know, but it's part of the context of who he was in the industry. He had success on a level most Memphis artists never reach, but it came with a different kind of reputation than someone grinding in the streets would have.
We've been putting it in this box. I'm just slowly trying to clean up everything. It's just, honestly, it's very, like, just, I don't even have words. I really don't. It brings tears to my eyes, you know?
What's clear is that law enforcement treated this as a serious threat. The timeline of events shows how quickly things escalated. A car crash at 8 a.m. turns into a barricade situation. Hours of standoff, multiple agencies responding, and by the end of the day, an arrest on serious criminal charges. The crash itself is still a mystery in terms of what caused it. Was he driving erratically? Was he speeding? Was he trying to get away from something or someone? Did something happen in the moments before the crash that set all of this in motion? Those details haven't been made public. What we know is that after the crash, instead of dealing with it normally, he went to a nearby home and barricaded himself inside. That suggests something else was going on beyond just a traffic accident. People don't flee crash scenes and lock themselves in houses unless there's more to the story. iHeartMemphis is now facing legal consequences that could be significant depending on how the case proceeds. Threats to kill is a serious criminal charge in Florida. The statute covers any person who threatens to kill or do bodily harm to another person. If convicted, it's a second-degree felony that carries potential prison time of up to 15 years. This isn't a misdemeanor that resolves with a fine. This isn't something that gets dismissed easily. If prosecutors decide to push forward with the case, and if the evidence supports the charge, this could result in significant prison time. His life could change dramatically based on the outcome of this case.
And he gets on the ground and he's watching this shit happen. He's like, what? Like, I can't even. I wish it could have gone beforehand before it got this bad, but the clips are everywhere.
They done got iHeartMemphis, y'all. My boy was going through a spiritual awakening. And for everyone that's going through that, it's never the same for one person. Everybody's path and experience is a little different.
Oh, they're trying to hit me. A drone. What the f***? He's safe.
The arrest happened on a Monday. By that evening, the news had spread across hip-hop media and local news outlets. The rapper, known for a viral dance hit, was now in custody after a standoff with police. The contrast between those two realities is stark. Social media started picking up the story. People who remembered Hit the Quan were shocked to see his name trending for this reason. Comments ranged from disbelief to concern to speculation about what could have led to this situation. But without full details, everyone was working with limited information and making assumptions. Some people expressed sympathy, noting how difficult it can be for artists who have one big moment and then struggle afterward. Others questioned what could have happened to lead to such serious charges. And some just remembered the dance and couldn't reconcile that image with what was happening now. This is also a reminder of how quickly situations can escalate. A car crash in the morning leads to a barricade situation by midday, hours of standoff, SWAT deployment, and by evening, an arrest on serious charges. All in one day, one sequence of events that completely changes someone's life and puts them in a position where they're facing potential prison time.
So is this something you're going to continue with, music?
Yeah, you know, until I go to the next level, you know, I want to be in movies or models, things of that nature. But right now, you know, music is the next level. You know, it's just levels to success, and music is that stepping stone that I have now, and it's working really good. So I'm going to take advantage of it.
For anyone following iHeartMemphis over the years, this is an unexpected turn. He maintained a presence in Memphis hip-hop circles. He performed at clubs and venues around the city. He released tracks independently. He stayed connected to his roots, but nothing in his public profile suggested something like this was coming. That's the nature of these situations, though. They often develop quickly, without warning signs visible to the public. What happens behind closed doors, in private moments, in personal struggles, doesn't always show up until a critical incident brings it into public view. We don't know what was going on in his personal life. We don't know if there were ongoing conflicts or situations that led to this moment. We don't know if there were mental health issues, relationship problems, financial stress, or other factors that contributed to what happened. We don't know the full context of what happened before that Tesla crashed Monday morning. All of that remains unclear and may stay that way unless it comes out in court. What we do know is the sequence of events on February 10th, the crash crash, the refusal to cooperate, the barricade, the SWAT response, the live streaming, the hours-long standoff, and finally, the arrest on threats to kill charges. The legal system will now handle what happens next. iHeartMemphis will have court appearances. He'll be arraigned on the charges where he'll enter a plea. Evidence will be presented during discovery. The prosecution will build their case based on whatever happened during the incident. The defense will respond with their version of events and any mitigating circumstances. The process will play out over weeks or months depending on how it proceeds. If he takes a plea deal, it could resolve relatively quickly with negotiated sentencing. If it goes to trial, it could take much longer as both sides prepare their cases and present evidence to a jury. Either way, he's looking at serious legal consequences that could include significant prison time. For now, he's in custody on the threats charge stemming from the February 10th incident in Plantation. The standoff is over, the arrest has been made, the case is active, and the rapper who once had millions of people hitting the Quan is now facing a completely different kind of attention. The music industry can be unforgiving to artists who have one big moment and then struggle to maintain that momentum. iHeartMemphis experienced that. He had his moment in 2015 and then spent the next decade trying to figure out what came next. Whether that frustration played any role in what happened Monday, we can't say. But it's part of his story. Florida law enforcement takes threats seriously, especially when they involve potential violence. The fact that he barricaded himself and required SWAT intervention shows this wasn't a case where he was cooperating or trying to de-escalate. Something was happening that made him feel like he needed to lock himself in that house and refuse to come out for hours. The Tesla crash that started everything is also worth noting. We don't know if it was an accident, if he was fleeing something, or if there were other factors involved. The fact that he left the crash scene and went to a nearby home suggests he wasn't just dealing with a simple traffic accident. Something else was happening that made leaving the scene seem like the right move to him in that moment. When police arrived at the home, they tried to make contact. They knocked, they called out, they attempted to communicate, but he wouldn't respond appropriately, or he refused to cooperate with their requests to come out. That's when the decision was made to call in additional resources and treat this as a barricade situation rather than a simple welfare check. Barricade situations are tense by nature. You have someone who won't come out. You have officers who need to resolve the situation safely. You have the risk that the person inside could be armed, could hurt themselves, or could escalate things further. Police have to balance trying to end it peacefully while also being prepared for worst-case scenarios. That's why SWAT teams train specifically for these situations. That's why negotiators are brought in who specialize in talking people down and finding peaceful resolutions. The goal is always to get the person to surrender without anyone getting hurt. In this case, after hours of trying different approaches, they succeeded. iHeartMemphis eventually came out and was taken into custody without further violence. Memphis media covered the story because of his connection to the city. He's one of their own, someone who came up through the local scene and had national success. Seeing him arrested in Florida on serious charges is news in Memphis, regardless of how long it's been since Hit the Quan was relevant. The hip-hop community in Memphis is tight-knit. Artists know each other. They come up together. They collaborate. They support each other through struggles and celebrate successes. When someone from that community makes headlines for something like this, it resonates beyond just that individual person. It affects the whole scene. As of right now, iHeartMemphis remains in custody. The charges are pending. The legal proceedings are just beginning. This is still a developing situation, and more details will likely emerge as the case moves through the court system. What happens next depends on several factors: the strength of the evidence against him, the specifics of what occurred before and during the standoff, how the prosecution decides to proceed with the case, whether there's a plea agreement offered, or if this goes to trial, whether character witnesses come forward to testify on his behalf, whether there are mitigating circumstances that could affect sentencing if he's convicted. All of that remains to be seen over the coming weeks and months. For someone who went viral for bringing joy with a dance, this is a dramatically different chapter. The headlines now aren't about music or dancing or viral challenges. They're about a serious legal situation with real consequences. The contrast between Hit the Quan and arrested after SWAT standoff couldn't be more stark. The reality is that we're still in the early stages of this story. The arrest just happened. The details are still coming out. The legal process is just beginning. There will be more information released as the case progresses through the courts, and that will fill in some of the gaps about what exactly happened and why. But right now, what we know is enough to understand the seriousness of the situation. A car crash led to a standoff led to a SWAT response, and that response led to an arrest on charges that carry serious prison time if convicted. iHeartMemphis went from performing Hit the Quan on stages across the country to being in custody in Broward County. That's the reality of where things stand on February 10th, 2026. The coming days and weeks will reveal more about this case. Court hearings will be scheduled. More details about the incident will emerge. The public will learn more about what led to those threats charges and what exactly happened during those hours inside that plantation home. The legal system moves slowly, but information will come out as the process unfolds. For his fans, for people in Memphis, for anyone who remembers the cultural moment of Hit the Quan, this is a difficult situation to process. It's hard to reconcile the artist who brought that energy and fun with the person who ended up in a standoff with SWAT teams. But people are complicated. Situations are complicated. And sometimes things happen that nobody sees coming. The hope in any situation like this is that everyone involved stays safe, that the legal process works fairly, and that whatever underlying issues contributed to this incident get addressed. Whether that happens through the court system, through personal accountability, or through getting help if it's needed, that's what matters beyond just the headlines and the charges. Right now, though, the focus is on the legal case. iHeartMemphis is facing serious charges that will determine a significant part of his future. The evidence will be examined, the facts will be presented, and a judge or jury will make decisions based on what happened that Monday morning in Plantation, Florida. Let me know in the comments what you think about this situation. Do you remember when Hit the Quan was everywhere? What do you think could have led to this? Drop your thoughts below. And if you want to stay updated on stories like this as they develop, make sure you're subscribed. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next update when more information comes out about this case. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.